Hi, my name is Carla and I'm a psychotherapeutic counselor, and I'm going to create these short videos because I want to do a little bit of psychoeducation, which means I want to teach you a little bit what us counselors do all the time in our sessions. I'm going to talk a little bit about some concepts that I think can be really useful to know, no matter if you are in counseling yourself right now or if you're not. It doesn't matter, you can still apply them to yourself. Okay, so today I want to talk about the window of tolerance. And the window of tolerance is a concept that I use with nearly all of my clients. I find it really, really useful. So what is the window of tolerance? Okay, so I want you to imagine the window of tolerance as this big window. And when you are within that, you are feeling like you can cope with life, right? So you're not necessarily always super happy. You might feel a bit irritated at times, or you might feel a bit stressed at times or sad. But overall, if you are within that window, you're okay. It's like you can cope. You're able to manage the things that life throws at you. So imagine it like if we're talking about like temperature, it's like a nice room temperature within that window. Now, what could happen is that things happen in life and you're moving towards the top of that window in temperature terms. The temperature is getting hotter and hotter in an uncomfortable way, or you're moving towards the bottom of that window where it's getting colder and colder in an uncomfortable way. So if you crash out of your window from the top, we call that hyperarousal, meaning there is too much arousal. And what happens when you're moving towards the top is you're feeling more and more anxious, you're feeling more and more like angry. It's just too many things are happening. It feels really uncomfortable. And once you crash out and you are in hyperarousal, the feeling is of panic, the feeling is of extreme anxiety, paranoia almost. And it's just incredibly uncomfortable to be with that feeling of hyperarousal. At the same time, on the other hand, when you're moving towards the bottom of that window, when the temperature gets cooler, you're feeling more and more numb. You're feeling more and more disconnected, not just to others, but also to yourself. You don't check in with yourself anymore. You feel like feelings of sadness, of weakness, you're tired, you're depressed. Eventually, when you crash out of it, that is when this gets to a high point. You are in so-called hypoarousal, which means no arousal, no more arousal. So why is this important for therapy? Because I think it's really important for a client to know about this, because what I see is a lot of clients that come to me in a state of hyper or in a state of hypo, and they think this is who they are. They think this is their character. And then they're very ashamed, or they're very angry, or they're very sad about this because they say like, this is who I am now. I don't connect with my friends. I don't check in with anyone anymore. Or this is who I am now. I'm constantly anxious. I'm constantly angry at the world. And they don't understand where they got there and how that happened. Now, if they understand how the window of tolerance works, they actually realize, wait a minute, this is not who I am. This is just my responses because I'm out of my window of tolerance, and I'm either in this fight or flight mode, or I'm in this absolute freeze mode, but this is not who I am as a person. And that takes away a lot of the shame. And then it makes it much easier to actually work with them. The second thing that I think is really important for clients is that once they understand this concept, they can actually pinpoint where they are. And not just once, but over the course of the week. And once they pinpoint where they are, it's much easier for them to find triggers. So they could potentially say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I felt like I was well within my window of tolerance. But then suddenly things were happening that were moving me towards the top. I was getting more and more anxious. And then once we identify this, we can narrow it down and we can say, okay, let's talk about that more. What was there? Do you remember specific events that elevated you to the top? And once we identify those triggers, we can talk about them. We can work on building some resilience, because obviously life is always going to throw difficult things at us. But once we understand what triggers us, it's much easier to work with it. Okay, so I hope that this made sense. And if you have any questions, you can always message me. If you think about starting therapy, I offer 30 minutes free of charge initial consultations, non-binding. You can book them through my website. And if you like this video, please share it. And I'm hoping to create more videos soon. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.